Hi, my friend. This is Nestor Nidome, the Make Money from Home Dad. And today we're going to be reviewing a book. And today's book is actually how to read a book. And one of the main reasons that I wanted to make my first book review about this book is because at first glance, when you see this title, you're like, oh, this is an elementary school kind of book, right? Something that, somebody who doesn't know how to read needs this book. But in actuality, this book, it was recommended by Jim Rome. I was watching one of his videos. If you don't know who Jim Rome is, I suggest that you look up, you look him up on Google or something, watch a lot of his stuff. He's great. But he recommended this book and said that he loved it and that it helped him so much. And once I read it, I understood why. Because it teaches you how to effectively read a book. And when we're talking about books, most likely, and this is what it mentions about in this book, is that it's talking about more of analytical kind of books of information, not necessarily like storybooks or fiction books, which it does go over how to read that type of book, but it's more about knowledge based. That's why I like about this, is because it teaches you how to absorb a book as much as you can, right? And this is one of the reasons why I wanted to make a book review. My first book review on this book is because I was thinking, you know what? I've been reading a lot of books. I've read a lot of books. I've listened to a lot of audios, but I never thought of myself as a serious reader. I never really did. I mean, to be honest. And ever since I started to get involved in reading, because leaders are readers, I started to think about, I am a serious reader. And so when I heard Jim Rome talking about this, I said, you know what? I need to read this book before I start my journey into serious reading, because I need to learn how to really, really absorb as much as I can. Because I said, you know what? I don't want to go on. I don't want to move on and reading books without first knowing what's in here. And as you can see, this is a thick book. It's a pretty easy read. It's not that difficult, but it goes through everything from what he calls about, how you learn about elementary reading, right? How you learn intermediate reading. And one of the things that kind of stood up to me is that I was always a slow reader as I was growing up, and now that I'm starting to read more, I'm starting to read a little bit more faster. But what I liked about him, he said, is that sometimes reading fast is not the greatest thing. Going through a book as fast as you can. Sometimes you have to more learn how to speed up and know when to slow down. It's very important. He says one of the things that he mentions, that knowing how to slow down for the important things, that when you're reading a book and learning something, that speed reading might not be the great thing you can do for yourself. You have to learn when you should slow down, like very slow down, and pay attention to what you're reading, because and sometimes you need to learn how to speed read through things just to kind of get the gist of it, because it might not be as important. Another thing, he goes over a lot of rules about reading, about how the first thing when you grab a book, what do you need to do first before you even start reading, some of the stuff, how you glance through it, learning how to glance through the book before you even start reading. So there's certain things that you should be doing before you even start reading a book, so you can kind of understand. And what I like about that is that it teaches you how to get like an overview of a book. That way, when you start reading, you kind of have a mental picture, and start to put things together. See, one of the things he's mentioned is that when you're reading like a story, sometimes you don't want to jump to the end, because you know it'll spoil the ending. But when you're reading something like this, or a scientific book, or a mathematical book, or something, it doesn't really matter if you know the ending, right? Because what you're doing is you're trying to absorb everything that's in here. So that's why the way that you're supposed to approach a book is knowing basically the whole picture before you even start reading it. That way you kind of know what's coming up, and you're ready for it, right? Yeah, he talks about, he goes into a lot of detail about that, about how important a table of contents is, which I really didn't know. I mean, I thought a table of contents was just for reference, but it's not. It's actually one of the starting points to be able to really know how to read a book. So, my friend, if you are serious about reading books, if you're serious about your education, and you're gonna be continuing to become a serious reader, for so you can expand your mind, and expand your business in your life, I do suggest that before you move forward, you get yourself a copy of this book. I do have a link when you push on the button of this picture, sorry for getting a little tongue tied, but when you click on this book picture at the bottom of this video, it'll take you to Amazon where you can purchase it if you wish. But I do suggest that you get yourself a copy of this book because it'll teach you how to read a book from. I mean, I'm just gonna be honest. I mean, reading this book, I was like, you know what? I'm so glad I read this book because I was doing it. I now I know that all the other books that I read, I really didn't absorb as much of it as I could have, and so I'm actually gonna start going back to all those old books and really read them how you're supposed to read them to be able to absorb as much as you can from that information. Also, my friend, go ahead and put your comments on the bottom of the book, especially if you read this book. I would love to hear what you got. Okay, I would love to hear what your thoughts are about this book, your thoughts about the review. Put them on the bottom of this video. See, I want to know what you think. But also, just keep in mind, I will be putting up more reviews about different books that I read. So you're more than welcome to subscribe to my blog and keep up to date with all these reviews. Okay, my friend. Also, would love to know what you're reading because maybe you have a book that I haven't read. So please share on the bottom of this video and share on the other pages of the book reviews, books that you've read that maybe I haven't read. Okay, my friend, and some other people who read this blog haven't read. So thank you for sharing. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I suggest you get this book right away. And this is Nestor, the Make Money from Home Dad. Bye for now.